Hello, welcome again, and thanks for listening to Willow Talk. Adam Peacock here alongside Brad Haddin. A little midweek chat about cricket once again, Hads.
Hey, good to see you. Bit going on.
Bit going on. Now, on Monday, obviously, we released, or early in the week, released the chat with Paul Blocker-Wilson. That was fun, but now's our more topical. We can digest what's happened in the last 7 days in cricket, and a bit's happened, hasn't it?
Mate, a lot's happened. Some extraordinary things have happened. The result in the Test match in Pakistan is, you know what? We thought of
Hats off to England,
mate. Hats off. We thought of every scenario to find a result on that wicket. We thought outside the box, but I tell you what, to get 800 runs in 150 overs, then roll Pakistan. And the other news is that we talk a lot about who's going to open the Test match, where's Steve Smith, but I'm actually gutted for Green. I'm gutted that someone that young has to go in to get an operation. We've seen Pato have it, Bumrah have it. They've been out for extended periods of time. So takeaway selections, from the personal point of view, I'm just gutted that he has to get this done.
Yeah, for 6 months. He's Gonski, so he misses the entire Australian summer. Has just said we take away selections. Well, actually, we're not going to. In this next hour or so, we're going to have hot takes on the selections because the knock-on effect, Hads, we won't get into it now, is significant. It's not just about, who's going to bat at 4 and bowl a few overs. It goes all around to the top of the order, all the way down to how many overs the guys bowl as well. So it is a huge, huge conundrum for the Australian selectors with Cam Green out. We're also going to, you mentioned news, I blame you for what has happened to our Australian women's captain, Alyssa Healy, friend of the show, co-host of the show. You said she was going to go over there and start breaking world records and things. She got injured, okay? So your moz is really, really telling here. Hads, are you claiming any responsibility for what has happened to our mate?
Well, I'm going to say yes, I'm going to claim responsibility. Because every World Cup event, Healy comes good in finals.
Okay, so hold our breath.
Just hold your breath.
Wait.
She's had a bit of a hit on the golf course. There's no way a tough keeper like Healy is not going to feature in these semi-finals and finals. Yeah. That's what I think.
Okay, so producer Sam's done a little chat with Heel, so we'll have that later on. A bit of newsiness to the show as well. We're going to go over the first round of the Sheffield Shield. This is great. Like, we all love Shield cricket. Those who love cricket in Australia should love Shield because it is the pathway to the baggy green. And there are a few things up in the air with that 11 baggy green selection. So, the Shield, first round, what's happened is very much worth talking about, and what's ahead is very much worth talking about. We've got the international circuit covered as well, and we're going to finish with the sweet smell of Sundries.
Oh.
There's a bit of perfume chat there too, or fragrance chat.
Our producer Sam could do with some of that.
And not from where you think it's come from as well. There's a really weird one coming.
Uh-oh.
Really
weird set up
one.
Again here?
No, nothing to do with you. You'd know the guy, though. You'd know the guy, I reckon. Maybe giving you out on the odd occasion, too.
We're talking umpires.
Potentially. Big thanks if you follow us on social media. Find us on Instagram and TikTok by hitting the links in the episode notes or searching Willow Talk Podcasts. There you'll see clips of the show, interactive polls, and the Secret Cricket Club on Instagram. And it's the best way to drop us a message like the following have. Jace on TikTok asked if we can give his club a shout-out. Doing it right now, Jace. A big shout-out to the Barclay Street Uniting Cricket Club in Melbourne. Now, Hads, Barclay Street Uniting is celebrating its 100th season this summer. What an achievement. The club is known as the Dragons, plays in the 5th tier of Victorian Turf Cricket Association, has won 15 first 11 premierships in the past 99 seasons. That's a good strike rate.
A great strike rate.
Almost 1 in 5. Well done. Jason has a close connection to the club. His wife's grandfather helped re-establish the club after World War II. Then his father-in-law played for 20 seasons. And now Jace captains the second-grade team. So shout out to the Barclay Street Uniting Dragons this season. Good luck.
Mate, good luck the Dragons. No better time to win a premiership in your 100th year.
Exactly.
Great celebrations.
Dan on Instagram wants to know Hads' thoughts on Bo Webster's test chances. Well, before you answer, Dan, we can go one better. Bo is next week's special guest on the early episode in the week, next Tuesday. We talked to Slug.
I like about Bo Webster?
Mm.
His stats over the last 3 years are gradually getting better and better.
Mhm.
He's dominated state cricket. But what he's done, he always gets runs under pressure. And there's a difference between getting good runs and comfortable runs. Anytime you get a score, but Webster, what he's done really well, he's done it on tricky conditions at times at Bellerive Oval. So, mate, he's put his name right up there in discussions. He's in the Australian A squad now.
Mhm.
I like the style.
Let's get to chat about current issues. And Bo Webster is in the conversation. He's chosen in the Australia A squad, looking for depth, the Australian selectors, ahead of the summer because Cam Green is out. So was going to bat at 4, was going to bowl a bit. We think he was going to bat at 4, maybe shuffled around a bit because Steve Smith wants to bat at 4. More on that in a moment. But news came through Monday that Cameron Green will have surgery on a back stress fracture, which will rule him out for 6 months, as we said at the top. It's horrible news. It's down near the lumbar spine. It's down near the lumbar region, right down at the base. He also has a unique defect in an adjacent area to the fracture, which sounds not great if you want to be an athlete.
Well, I'm gutted, if I'm honest. One, I enjoy watching him play. He's aggressive with the ball. He was really starting to find his feet in Test cricket with the bat. I know Australian selectors, George Bailey and Andrew McDonald, done a really good job to manage him over the last couple of years so we can see the best out of him. So take that he's out of the Test and we'll talk all about. I'm just gutted. These surgeries for a young athlete make you nervous. I know James Pattinson's had it, Berendorf's had it, and there's always that element of doubt. How will I come back? Will I ever be the same again? So, mate, our thoughts go out to Green. We hope a speedy recovery. He's going to be a superstar of the game. We just want to see him back playing.
He had a really busy 18 months. He said that when he was in here. He was happy to be having a bit of a break, although they didn't fry him last summer, Australian Test summer, because they were seeing what was going to happen and getting him ready to contribute in New Zealand, which he did, but he went IPL. Yeah. He picks up the injury on a one-day tour of England. Have you got a problem with that?
No,
he does it there?
That's where the final straw was. But this was obviously building up for some time. As you said, they've found a defect in an adjacent bone or fracture, something there. So it's been building. The only thing you hope out of these surgery, and it's a big decision to get surgery, is that he comes back out and all of a sudden it's all steam forward. You don't want to see them at this age being hampered with his back. Does he come back and bowl again? That's obviously a thought. The guys have had it before, have come back, as Bumrah's had it, and he's come back pretty well. So he'll get all the information he needs from everyone, and then it's just about being on top of your recovery.
James Pattinson and Jason Berendorf have had it as well, and they've come back. So fingers crossed that all is okay with Cam Green. Interesting one is that the timing works out that he will be back ready just in time for the IPL.
Yep.
If you Cricket Australia are over the moon that his first up performance will be at an IPL.
Oh,
he'll be deal with it.
Well, it might be. That's what they hope. That's when he's 100% fit to play. You want him playing cricket, whether that's IPL or state cricket. When he's right to go, you want him to play the first opportunity that's available. I'm not worried whether it's IPL. I just want to see him back playing because this is a big deal, I think.
Who replaces him then at 4? Well, Steve Smith doesn't want to open all of a sudden.
Easy.
Steve Smith just pondering life. He didn't play the
bad.
First Shield game. He went, you know what? I don't think I'm an opener. I think I'm a number 4 again. So, okay, it's perfect in a sense that you go, oh, who's going to replace Green at 4? Oh, just put Steve Smith there. Get to the opener equation in a moment. Firstly, Steve Smith, this whole notion of him becoming an opener, 8 innings, 171 runs, average of just under 30, best 91 not out. The best of the 91 not out was at the Gabba in the losing cause against the West Indies when Shamar Joseph did the incredible. Australia won 3 or 4 tests with Smith at opener. George Bailey said Steve had expressed a desire to move back down from that opening position, and Pat and Andrew have confirmed that he will be dropping back down for the order for the sum. It'd be interesting. They said, no, you don't. You're opening, but no, they've let him. Does status get you that right?
Oh, he's earned the right. I think Steve Smith's best position is 3 or 4. He had the opportunity to try opening, and you can do that as well. You've got some marquee series against India and England coming up, so they've given it a crack to get everyone into the team, and now he wants to go back down where he's comfortable. I don't mind it at all.
You know the guy pretty well.
Yep.
But you can't speak for him, of course. What do you reckon his thought process was in wanting to go back down to 4?
I just think it wouldn't just be Steve Smith. The discussion would have been with Andrew McDonald, Paddy. It's not just something he walks in and says, I'm now going down at 4. There would have been a discussion, what's the best for the team? Where do you best suit? Where's your best value in the team? And then the discussion will start to take shape on getting Smith down to 3 or 4. So, yeah, it's not just him walking in saying, I've had enough. Smitty, if they had said it's the best for the team, he would have stayed opening.
When you went and played grade cricket, did you walk in and go, I'm batting here today?
No.
Never? You never?
I only said that when I was fielding the deep mid-wicket and the snake was there, and I said, I'm fielding in slip. That's the only time I demanded.
With good reason. With good reason. Just quickly on that, with snakes and cricket. I know we're getting off topic here.
Again?
I just want to bring up Cricket Central, where they built that ground for Cricket New South Wales. Why in God's name have they built a beautiful native bushland over mid-wicket fence? Every time the ball goes over there, I wouldn't be going in there.
Well, don't send Nathan Lyon in there.
Not in the middle of summer. No chance. And it's only going to take one idiot up in the dressing room to go, you know what, I'm bored. I'm going out to buy 5 fake brown snakes and put them down there and just see blokes jump around like they're on a hot tin roof.
Your mind works in mysterious ways.
I just thought of that. Why on earth they built that might have been part of the whole, you can have this land, but you have to plant all these trees. Oh, just put some gum trees there. Just give the guys a chance to find the ball and not lose their lives.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought about it till now you've brought it up.
Yeah, you won't be trespassing there.
No way.
Anytime soon. Sorry, got off topic.
Yeah.
Was it a good move in hindsight to put him up to the top?
Oh, they won 3 out of 4 tests. That's the way they lost the one test where he top scored at the Gabba when Shamar Joseph went through us. I don't mind the experiment. Steve Smith had a desire to get up there. It gave us the opportunity to have a look at Mitch Marsh and Green playing in the same team. I like that he's gone back down to 3 or 4 because he's just so good. And his numbers there, he's 67 at number 3 and 61 at number 4. So he can control the tempo of the game. He's a big wicket now if India don't get through those opening 3 pretty quick. Steve Smith comes in with an older Kookaburra ball. He can control the tempo of the game, and we've seen his appetite against India on a number of occasions here in Australia. They found it hard to get it out. So I don't mind that they tried it, and now that he's gone back. There's an argument to say he should have stayed up there, but he was only going up there because there's no other option that at that time. So, yeah, I don't see that big a deal about it.
Okay. So, we've established that Steve Smith is going to go 4. You're not moving Marnus from 3.
Down the order.
Down the order?
Well,
Travis Head 5, Mitch Marsh 6.
What about Steve Smith 3, Travis Head 4, and Marnus open?
Well, let's get to that. I'm going to get you to do your 1 to 5, best option 1, 5th best option 5. It's pretty self-explanatory, really, so made it simple for you, Hads. Who's your best option for that opening spot? Now that you've said Marnus, is it Marnus?
No, he's an option. He's definitely an option. And the reason that I said that is Mitch Marsh didn't bowl last Shield game. So where's he at with overs?
He scored runs.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not saying he's not in the team. He's definitely in the team as a batter, but do we need 10 to 12 overs from a bowler? Can Travis Head do that? Maybe the first test in Perth, you don't need that all-rounder as much because I'd imagine the game will move pretty quick and the bowlers won't have as much load in them. But do you need overs? Like is Anisa come into calculations when the wicket gets flattered to bat at 7? There's so many options. It doesn't have to be, okay, this is a test team for the summer. This is who's going to bat at 7. that could change depending on surface. And I think we've generally got a shootout in the next 3 weeks. I honestly think that.
So this is for the spare opening spot.
Yep.
So who's your best option? Number 1 seed
Well,
right now.
Number 1 seed, not right now, who by the time the test match comes about.
Can you see the future, can you?
Yep.
Clever. Who's winning the Everest this weekend?
That's easy. McDonald and Waller. You had it here now.
Okay. Thanks,
Bella
Scoop.
Dippertina's a chance too, actually.
Okay.
Anyway, get off topic. Maybe Quinella there.
Number 1 seed, test opening spot
In
this
3
summer.
weeks,
Yes.
after these games, I'm going to say Sam Constant's going to score a couple more hundreds. In that
Oh,
time.
really?
Yep.
No pressure, kid.
Yeah. And then the conversation gets really interesting. The 2 and 3, I think.
Hang on. Back to Sam quickly. And we'll get to Shield and what everyone did in the Shield, but obviously double 100 going okay. South Australia at Cricket Central, snake infested Cricket Central. What has the word out of New South Wales since that about how he handled it and, his mindset in and around being out there for a long period of time? These little things that you see when you go, okay, I've scored a big 100, I'll walk in there like Conor McGregor after a big fight. Or is he just keeping it low key? He's doing what he needs to do in the field, all of that.
Well, if you have a real close look at it,
Hmm.
you sometimes get a player that comes through the system, and it's not always about games. Like you look at Hazelwood, for example, played 6 first-class games for Australia. Steve Smith 9, Starkey 10. Mate, Camo played 3. Assistant coach for Australia, Dan Vittori, played 2.
Mm.
So it's not always about how many games you play.
So it's like meeting your future wife in high school. When you know, you know.
When you know. And Sam might be one of those talent. He might be one of those talent where you go, okay, yes, he's got a couple of hundreds, and we just know. And do you throw him in the deep end in a series like this? So it's going to be interesting the next 2 weeks in the Australian A Indian game. If he dominates that, all of a sudden he goes to the top of the queue.
Were you around when Michael Clark came through?
Yep.
So
Steve Smith.
I remember when Michael Clark came through and the way he went about it, everyone went, this kid is going to play a lot of test match cricket for Australia. But that was around the time when he was just making his debut for New South Wales.
Yeah.
How was he like that, headspace-wise?
Smitty was the same. And same to Paddy. Once you see him a little bit, you go, whoa. And I remember facing Hazelwood for the first time thinking, hang on a minute, he's different. And that straight away, that the way they prepared, the length they bowl, the cricket IQ they had was just superior to anyone else at that age. So sometimes you just know. Other guys have to play 30 to 50 or in Huss's case and mine, you're 100 games.
I was about to say, were you rocked up and training at, you know what? This little 19-year-old from Queanbeyan, he's going to play test cricket when he's 30.
Yeah, when Gilly's done. But sometimes but there are times, and maybe this is one of those occasions. So the next 3 weeks will tell that. 2 and 3, mate, Harris and Bancroft around the mark.
Yeah. So equal second seeds. Well,
Marcus Harris, I think, showed the other day, got 100 in the Shield game. Their record's about the same, those two. Number 4, I'm going to throw out.
Oh, here we go.
Maybe Mitch Marsh.
Mitch Marsh to open.
Yeah, well, I wonder, and I don't know this, I wonder if there was a plan. If Green had been injured, they had to find an opener somewhere. And are they already down the track with preparing someone? We don't have to know about it. George Bailey and his selectors have pulled a lot of the right strings in their selection over the couple of years they've done. They haven't got many things wrong.
Yeah.
So they might have been already 6 months, 9 months down the track with who's going to open.
So with Mitch Marsh, okay,
I'm
devil's advocate.
Okay.
If Australia are out there for 120 overs trying to bowl in year out, and he ends up bowling 15 of those, and ends up taking the last wicket, are you okay with him having to race off the field and open the bowling to try and save a test match or win one?
Well, here's my point. Say they were down. I don't know. I'm only throwing up different case scenarios. Say they were down that track, and then Hardy plays at number 6. So he's bowled those overs because Mitch hasn't bowled a lot in recent time. We know he's talented with the ball, but he hasn't bowled a lot.
Yeah, with white ball, he's got a really, it's almost an average of 2 overs per game.
Yeah, we didn't bowl in the Shield game. So I'm just throwing, maybe they're down the track with that. And my fifth option is, we talk about Smitty going down the order. Could there be a scenario here where Marnus opens?
Yeah.
Smith at 3,
Travis
Head at 4, Marsh at 5, and the all-rounder at 6.
Okay.
Like Smith, like we talk about him going down to number 4 because he's got a great record. He's also got a great record at 3.
So would you classify Mitch Marsh as an absolute specialist batsman?
Yep.
If he didn't have the ability to bowl?
Well, I think he's in the team as a specialist batsman.
Okay.
I think his bowling's a bonus.
I'm just saying, against India's attack, which has great depth, and fingers crossed everyone gets through their upcoming Test series against New Zealand and they bring everyone out, that you don't need 6 guys who can be considered, if they didn't have the ability to bowl, as absolutely the 6 best batters in Australia.
Well, I think the 6 best batters need to play the first Test. Definitely in those conditions in Perth.
Yeah.
But that might change depending on the surface. You might be able to, you might have a surface at the MCG that you need more bowling options, and you back your top 6 batters and Ness, for example. If it's a really, really flat surface, you're backing your top 5 batters to get the job done. He might be your number 6 or 7. You got Carey there, who started the season on fire. He's knock in the Shield game. He got 100 and he got 90. Mate, we've seen his form over in the one day, so he's batting well. Last Test was 99. So there's, it's not that black and white. Surfaces will depend on where they go. Like, I don't think Neese's name's out of playing a Test match this summer now.
Yeah.
Because he's a fighter with the bat. You can bat him at 7 and put Carey at 6 for a one-off Test matches. Depends on what the surface is like. So,
Australia A have named a squad to play India A in 2 4-day matches in Mackay and the MCG. I like the fact that we're playing India A in this instead of lining up a tour match against the travelling. Maybe Time's got the India first. We've seen it the last few summers that the touring side plays against Australia A, and the game peters out to nothing. It just becomes a net session. Whereas this is like 2 squads who are going to go at each other and try and impress. And a few things might be happening in the game to try and get a result in both matches, both in Mackay and the MCG. Nathan McSweeney, he's obviously been marked. If he can get his game in order, he's been marked as a leader of Australian cricket. So he's captain again. All these names here, they're all in front of you. What jumps out at you, Hads, and excited to see, with a caveat, excited to see not named Ollie Davies?
I tell you what I'm excited to see. The first thing I noticed was Todd Murphy.
Yep.
Obvious. But Roccacelli.
Yeah.
He's had an outstanding year in Shield cricket last year. He comes up and over the ball.
Friend of the show as well. We had him on before the Shield final last year.
Yeah. So, he's an interesting one as well because Murphy did a good job in India and he suits that surface. But someone like Roccacelli, I'm interested to see how he goes. Nathan Lyon's there for as long as he wants, but Roccacelli, I think, is a genuine option if Nathan Lyon gets injured in Australia. So I like that selection. The other ones, you have a look, Bo Webster.
Mm-hmm.
I like,
soon to be friend of the show.
Yep, soon always been friend of the show.
Yeah.
Long time listener, first time on. I like that he's been given a reward for what he's done over the last 3 seasons. And the other thing in a game like this, yes, he's batting or take care, but you can sort of push his bowling a bit. You can give him X amount of overs in different cases scenario to see how he goes. He might be an option with Australia come down the track. So, mate, the other one here, mate, Josh Phillip, he's made that squad.
Yeah. Yeah, so last season for WA and Sheffield Shield, 11 innings, 174 runs at 17. So he decided to basically swap states. He's come to New South Wales, playing at Western Suburbs. He started it with 139 in the One Day Cup, soon to be named after some legend, and then 56 and Daddles, the duck, in his second knock. So,
Well, what about that move?
ah,
Last season, mate, 11 innings, 174 runs at 17. Played one Shield game for New South Wales, 56 and a duck. He's back in the Australian A squad.
there you go. That tells you a lot, doesn't it, Hads? What
Mate,
we've always talked about.
Mate, you get the blue, you get the green with you. I know Jimmy Pearson's in that, and he deserves to be third in line. He's outstanding. But, yeah, Philippi's selection, there obviously he's played for Australia before, but, yeah, one Shield game, he's back in that Australian A squad.
How do you reckon Josh Inglis feels about all of this? Because he's been chucked in the one-day squad to play Pakistan. So the calendar, by the way, India A, Australia A, the 4-day matches, October 31 to November 3, and then the second match, November 7 to 10. There's crossover with the one-day series against Pakistan, November 4, 8, 10. Are you happy?
How does Josh Inglis feel?
Yeah, with
as
Josh
relaxed as he ever can be.
Yeah.
Mate, Josh Inglis, if something happens to Alex Carey, he's next
in the Test squad.
Mate, in whatever squad.
Even though he's not playing the 4 days?
Oh, 100%. Mate, he's playing for Australia. He got 100 in the Shield game. He's the next man up. He's been on the tours. Every opportunity he's got, he's done really well at. So I wouldn't read anything into that. He knows exactly where he stands. Something happens to Carey the night before the Test. George Bailey rings him and he's straight in. So, yeah, I like what he's done, Inglis, over a long period of time. And he's earned the right to be the second choice keeper in the Test squad if something happens. Mate, he's in the one-day squad now. Carey played well in England, but it's Josh Inglis' spot there in the white ball.
And it's same with Aaron Hardy, who's in that white ball squad, not the 4-day squads, where George Bailey with those 4-day squads said the bowlers and wicketkeepers will rotate between matches. I think also the spinners, Rockacholi and also Murphy, will alternate and they'll link up with the one-day squad to link up with Dan Vettori for a few net sessions, which makes complete sense given Dan Vettori's ability. No Mitch Marsh and Travis Head in the one-day squads because they're on parental leave, which is fair enough, ahead of a big summer. Pat Cummins, though, is the skip. He's back in, Pat, to play these one-day matches. Is that the right prep before a Test series?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I can't doubt the prep of any of the three fast bowlers. They've been around long enough now to exactly what's needed. Mitch Marsh is out. You need a captain. Bring Paddy back in. I don't mind it. They'll get enough bowling into Pat. He'll be right to go come that first Test.
Cooper Connolly's been named in both those squads as well, so he'll obviously bounce between, maybe play one of the 4-day matches and then maybe one of the one-day matches against Pakistan, who goodness knows after day one of the second Test, goodness knows what state they're going to be in when they get here, given that they left out three of their biggest names. We'll get to that a bit later on, but that was extraordinary what's gone on over there. And poor old Jason Gillespie, if you didn't know what he was walking into, he does now. Exactly. But Fraser McGurk and Cooper Connolly named in the one-day squads too.
Yeah, I like that. I liked, but I also like that Cooper Connolly's in the Australian A squad. The more cricket you can expose younger guys in that longer form of the game, the better.
You like everything at the moment. You're in a good mood today.
Well, I can see what's happening. Like there's no reason to. Everything's crystal clear. You got the Australian A squad picked. Like the players in there that were shooting out for an opening spot. You're giving everyone the opportunity to do that. And then if you look at the one-day squad, you with guys like Jake and Cooper, you've got to start to get those guys in and around experienced teams. So there's not much not to like.
Okay. We'll test that theory a bit later on in the summer after actually some stuff's happened. Marcus Stoinis, by the way, wasn't given a CA contract in April, but if he plays one more match, he'll earn one by accruing 12 upgrade points. Like going from economy to business. It's a good feeling.
Oh, it's a great feeling.
I'm sure the Stoin will be happy about this. 5 points are given for a Test, 2 for a white ball game. He played 5 T20s in the recent tour of the UK, and you'd imagine he's getting a game here, one of the 3. So he gets the upgrade. Nice feeling when you get your first CA contract.
Very good feeling, actually.
Yeah. So what does it guarantee? It guarantees you like you're on a retainer.
Yeah.
What was yours? Can you remember the figure?
Yep. I think so.
Well, I asked you the question. Can you give us the answer?
I can't remember the number.
What was yours? It was good, though. Did you buy a car with it?
Mate, what?
Did you buy a
You know
house
what?
with it?
I am that.
I know
happy
it's not on the
about-
rundown. Don't look at the rundown and say, where's this
I
on the
can't
rundown?
remember. I can't
People want to
remember.
know how CA contracts work. Is it a big stress if you don't get one?
Well, mate, you're still contracted to your state, and you
Yeah.
still got 2020 contracts with Big Bash.
Hmm.
But like this, that's how we used to get our contracts a lot. When Gilead have a break and you're lucky enough to play a couple of games, you get upgraded, and it was always a good little bonus to get upgraded to CA rather than a state contract.
Yeah. I mean, Stoyan's not exactly like busking on the side of the street with the car case
Stone's
open.
going all right. He's
going all right with around the world, but
He's
good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. Integral part of our white ball setup. We're going to have a little spell here on Willow Talk. Back in a moment to talk to the Australian women's captain about how she's going to score a century to guide Australia to glory in a World Cup final in a few days' time. Got our extensive Shield wrap, bit of international cricket and sundries. Can you smell it? Women's T20 World Cup, no surprise. Australia through to the semi-finals. They'll play South Africa on Friday morning at 1 a.m. Eastern after the West Indies beat England and knocked them out of the tournament with a comprehensive 6-wicket win on Wednesday morning. So here's something you can agree with, Hads. It's sad to see England go out of a World Cup early. Do you agree with that after you liked everything before the break?
It's not sad. Mate, the only disappointing thing is England and New Zealand didn't go together.
Oh, come on, Bradley. Come on, Bradley.
Mate, I tell you what, the Aussies play South Africa. They're a dangerous team,
Yes.
South Africa. They played in the last World Cup final. They got match winners. Australia adapted to the conditions better than any other country over in the UAE. But South Africa's a tough semi-final.
Yeah, New Zealand plays the West Indies Saturday morning in the other semi-final after New Zealand upset India in their first match of the tournament, then beat Pakistan to advance to the semis for the first time since 2016. So the Kiwis, who prepared here with that series just before the World Cup against Australia, good form line, that series. They could end up playing in a World Cup final. Pakistan dropped 8 catches in that match against New Zealand. That's not going to get you a result.
At least they're consistent. Pakistan cricket are very consistent with their fielding.
Oh, my goodness. The final, by the way, is Monday morning, 1 a.m. Eastern time in Dubai. But, Australia went undefeated in the group stage, 4 from 4, but the big news was the injury to Alyssa Healy, obviously. Producer Sam Ferris caught up with Heels on Tuesday afternoon Aussie time when we were both busy with other things, and Heels sharply got back to us and said, at least we know where your priorities lie.
Kids.
No, but producer Sam stepped up, big style. Talked about her foot injury, her wicket-inducing sledge, and Australia's 15-match unbeaten run at the T20 World Cup. Over to you, Sam.
Thanks, Feathers. Producer Sam here with Australian captain Alyssa Healy. Is that the first time you've heard that nickname, Heels?
Yep. It is the first time, and I love it. I can't believe it hasn't been used before.
We don't bring it out. This will be a true test if Adam listens to the whole podcast. But it is a real pleasure to see you and talk to you on the eve of the semi-finals of the World Cup. We are talking before the last game of the group stage, so we don't know who Australia's opponent will be in the semi-final, but that's secondary news. Big news is, how are you going, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. I have, I've been lazy the last few days and keeping a foot up in the air with the hope of still having a crack at this tournament. But it's been nice to... It was hard to watch the other night, I will tell you. I haven't had to watch a lot of cricket from the sideline, and I struggled. But it was good to see us get the result over India, and then obviously New Zealand winning last night to, unfortunately, knock the Indians out of the tournament. But the two Chair and Tasman teams going through to the semis is pretty cool.
Unfortunate. If people could see you right now, I'm not sure they would have noticed a little grin on your face then, but a great result by the Kiwis. Before we move on, just the foot stuff. It looked mightily painful when you did it. How was it out there when it happened?
Not much fun. I will put it that way. Thankfully, it wasn't my calf. I think everyone was stressing that it was my calf because I am 34 now, and that's all everyone's worried about is, oh my God, was it her calf? But no, I've had a little re-injury of a foot that I did earlier in the year, and I'm still in the squad, so I haven't been replaced, so there's still the chance that I can take part in this tournament. It's just more about the next couple of days and what I can manage. But yeah, it was bloody sore at the time, let me tell you, as you could probably tell by the expression on my face. But let's play on and hopefully get myself right for either a semi or a final.
Well, fingers crossed you can get up for one, if not both of those games, Midge. Unfortunate news for Taylor Vlaminck, though, out of the tournament with that shoulder injury. It just looked like one of those innocuous falls that you guys would perform 100 times a match. How's she doing?
Yeah, that was hard to watch, obviously, in the first over of the game. Everyone loves Tay, and we know what she's been through injury-wise throughout her career already. And, yeah, to see that unfold, to be fair, I thought it was a knee first because I saw the big chunk of dirt come out of the ground from where I was standing, and I thought it was a knee, and I felt sick instantly because, you know, if it was a knee, that's automatic 9-12 months again. But she's okay. Obviously, dislocated her shoulder and has been replaced in our squad, but still around the group, thankfully, wants to be here to support and be a part of the World Cup, which is cool. But yeah, we're all pretty shattered for her. It's been a long road for her to get back to here in this moment, and then to see it unfold like that was horrible. But she's in good spirits, thankfully. She took all the green whistle that night, so there wasn't a lot left for me, sadly. But yeah, like I said, she's in as good a spirits as what she possibly can be, which is awesome. And the girls have really got around her, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, devastated for Taylor. I think we should introduce a new rule, particularly in T20s. Fast bowlers, no sliding, diving in the field, and opening batters 34 and above, no running between the wickets. Just hit boundaries.
No twos, yeah. No twos. I blame Pez. I'm like, hit it to the boundary so I don't have to come back for a tight two. But yeah, well, the funny thing is, I think throughout her injury sort of comeback, Tay hasn't been allowed to dive or slide, but she's quite literally the most competitive human being on the planet, and at no point thought, don't do it. But I'm pretty sure the stadium was actually quite loud. I'm pretty sure the whole group were like, don't do it. No, like, don't slide. Just let it go for 4. Like, it's not that important. So yeah, it wasn't great. But we could introduce that rule. I'll let Triple SM know about that today, and they'll try and bring it in, no doubt.
Willow Talk initiative. Tylee McGrath captains in your absence. What's her style of leadership like compared to yours?
She is like the coolest, most calm person on the planet, which I think you can see in her vice captaincy, and that really helps me because you know, I'm quite up and about and a wicketkeeper, so that's just natural. But she's pretty cool, calm, collected, and I think probably helping. She's had to do it before. Like I've missed a few games through some injury over the last 18 months, and she's had to step in before and do the job. We knew she could do the job. Like, that was never in doubt. It was just more about controlling emotions in the moment, and we know that she could do that too, and she does that really well for you know, the strikers in particular, but now for Australia. So I feel like it was an easy transition for the group. It was like easy enough, and then to have the support around her like Pez and Ash and some of the senior players out there, Moons behind the stumps, I think makes it a hell of a lot easier. But I thought she did an outstanding job, and to control the group the way she did, and to handle the nerves out there. The game got nervy, got quite tight, but to handle it the way she did, I thought was outstanding. And the changes that she made throughout just to keep the game in our favour was incredible. So yeah, it was good to watch.
No shortage of leaders in the team, experienced players. You just said it was good to watch. You touched on it earlier, but how was it for you watching? Tell us.
I was horrible. I won't lie. I was in the change room the whole time, and during the batting innings, a few of the girls were in there with me, and I had to apologise pre-game that I can get quite vocal, and it's not vocal at players; it's just vocal at the game itself. So they were sniggering away the whole time while I was yelling things at the ground or at the TV that I was watching. And then obviously when they went out on the ground, everyone's out there. So our manager came in for a little bit, and one of our other assistant coaches came in for a bit to keep me company, and I just was horrific. I completely embarrassed myself just yelling at what was going on. Obviously there was some like interesting umpire decisions and like reviews and whatnot, and then like drinks being run at weird times. So I was up and about and yelling everywhere. So I'm actually... I'd hope to think that I'm a little bit more calm and collected on the field as to what I was off the field, because I couldn't control a thing, and it made an absolute mess of myself.
That's outstanding. Jokes aside, big rivalry with India. They're out of the tournament. nobody would have really predicted this given New Zealand's track record coming into the tournament. They knocked them off in their first game, and then the Kiwis beat Pakistan to advance. What's that say about the tournament that India, one of the powerhouses of world cricket, don't make the Final Four?
Yeah, well, I think it was always said pre-tournament about just how close this tournament was going to be, and in particular, I spoke quite a lot about our pool, our group stage, and knowing how tricky it was going to be to progress through that stage, knowing, Sri Lanka's coming in with a heap of confidence after winning the Asia Cup. New Zealand, yes, they probably haven't had a great 12 months, but they're still a powerhouse side. We know that they can flip a switch at any point and beat you, especially in tournament play. We had India and Pakistan, who are playing some pretty decent cricket as well. So in subcontinental conditions, you're sort of coming up against, three subcontinental sides, knowing that it's going to be tough work. So I think, for India, I think losing that first game to Australia was always going to put losing the first game to New Zealand, I should say, it was always going to put the pressure on them, and knowing that our game was last, was sort of the last game for them, and us was always going to make it tricky. But full credit to New Zealand. I think, they put the hard work in early and reaped the rewards at the back end. It's obviously, for the competition's sake, sad to see India out of it. They had great support out here. The ground the other night at Sharjah was sold out. It was very loud. But in saying that, I think the Kiwis have been playing some pretty good cricket consistently and are full of confidence at the moment. So whoever they get in the semi-final could be quite an interesting showdown.
Yeah, it might be the Brad Haddin Bowl, New Zealand versus England in the semi. He'd be very torn about who to go for in that game. He wouldn't matter, though. I think he's already got Australia winning it. How about the conditions over there, Midge? That first game against Sri Lanka, poor old Beth Mooney out there looked like a roasted beetroot under the helmet. How was it?
It's hot. I mean, I'm really grateful that we got our 2:00 game out of the way first. I think we'd probably worked ourselves up about it quite a lot, and probably too much. It probably wasn't as bad as what we thought it was going to be. I think everyone came off thinking, that actually wasn't too bad, but it was hot. And I think the relentlessness of the sun beating down, I think at the night time, it's still hot, it's still humid, but I think having the added sun on your back the whole time made it that much worse. But it's been hot, it's been very sweaty, like very humid, which I didn't think was the case over here. I thought it was just a lot of dry heat, but coming over here and feeling the humidity like right throughout the day, even at 10 o'clock at night, like you go outside and you're sweating. So it's been relentless, but in saying that, the teams have all handled it really well, I think, and most of the teams have seemed to be really well prepared for that. I know we were, and we've done pretty well at managing it.
Speaking of Hads, you would not have found a prouder Australian than Brad Haddin watching the highlights of you chirping Chamari Adapadu and the next ball getting dismissed. Can you talk us through those couple of deliveries?
I just, what surprised me the most out of that whole little passage of play was, like, it's the first game of the World Cup. You've just won the Asian Cup. Like, you should be high on confidence about coming out, even if it is, you're playing, a really good side, and you come out, and I would have thought you'd take the game on, but it's just that first 3 overs, I was like, what is going on? Like, am I reading into this too much? Like, what is happening? And like, from my perspective behind the stumps, you want Chamari playing shots, because if she gets herself in, she's kind of like Harmanpreet to an extent where if she gets a look at 20 odd balls or 30 odd balls, she'll start getting her eye in and she'll start whacking them. So if you could kind of get her early, you feel like you're in the contest. So that kind of actually just slipped out of my mouth, I won't lie, because I was just like, what is going on? Like, if we had a batted first, I would have been swinging real hard at whatever was coming my way. But just little cheeky player shot Chamari, and then the sweep shot came next ball, and luckily it was a wicket. But Stump Mike, see, it's good. I actually rate Stump Mike. It picks up some of these funny moments along the tournament, which people probably don't get the chance to see at home.
Yeah, ICC's got to be careful, because they've got to be careful what they wish for. They sometimes want the Stump Mics down, but if they do, they miss out on stuff like that. Are you going to get...
Well, I tell you what, they actually pushed for cameras in the change room for this event, just to see what actually unfolds in the change room. And I'm glad that didn't happen, because they would have seen me be an absolute pelican the other night in the change room. So I'm glad that didn't happen.
That actually would be a good innovation. What are they talking? Just like one in the corner with no sound or something like that?
Yeah, kind of like you see in the AFL, like, you know how we watch them in
Yeah.
the change rooms at the breaks, and I think they filter what, what obviously is shown. But I think the bigger factor is that there's quite a few underage players in international cricket, so there might be an issue there. But it would be an interesting insight, in particular the other night. If someone put a GoPro up, it would have been very funny.
Would have captured heels after a victory, walking in, putting a wicket-keeping gloves down, cracking a beer, all in the space of 15 seconds.
Yeah, that's it. Not in Sharjah, though, only in Dubai.
That's right. That's outstanding. Are you going to claim that wicket, though, the Chamari Adapati wicket? Does that officially fall under your stats?
Well, I had this chat with Ash Gardner because it actually got sent to me. I did see the vision of it. It got sent to me by a few teammates who said that I think that they're crediting you with this wicket. One of those teammates was Megan Shute, who went on to then break the record for most wickets in a T20 World Cup. And I said, well, Shute, if they're crediting me with that wicket, then I've got way more wickets than you in World Cups. So you better be careful what you wish for. But I told Ash in the physio room while we were making coffee that that wicket's actually mine, and she didn't appreciate it. So we'll wait and see. Maybe you could put a poll up as to whether or not the wicketkeeper should get the wicket or not.
I'll tell you what, Shooter's not bad with the chirping either. So she'd influence a few wickets.
Fortunately, she's on the boundary, so you can't hear her a lot, but she'd be saying it out loud. Yeah, we just leave her out there so that we can't hear any of the rubbish.
Yeah, just on Megan, you mentioned it, leading wicket taker in Women's World Cups, T20 World Cups, and now Women's T20s overall. I'm not going to ask her how good she is because we know how good she is, but can you remember your first impression, your first time meeting her?
Scared. I was so scared of Shooter. Still am, to be completely honest with you, which I think is justified. I remember her coming in. I feel like I remember her coming into the Aussie squad. We played against her in like domestic cricket and obviously knew what she could do. She could swing the ball, and everyone knows she's pretty bloody good at what she does. But I just remember meeting her off the field and I was like, this is one of the scariest people that I have ever met. Just very open, very happy to talk about whatever was going on in her life. And probably for me at that time, it reflected my life. And I was like, you shouldn't say that stuff. But like in time, just like understood that she's like a really great teammate, one of the greatest team people around the group. Loves helping everyone out, is everyone's mate. The ultimate team player in that regard, which is so useful to have in for Australia for a long period of time. Has been part of this core group for a long period now, which is cool. So it's nice to see her get rewarded for consistency, especially in tournament play. I mean, I feel like we all know what she does in Australia, and no one can still hit it in Australia. But in tournament play, she becomes so hard to work out because you only get one look at her. When you play a series, especially a multi-format series, you get multiple looks at her over time and you can kind of work out a plan and develop a plan. But doing that in tournament play, when you get one crack at coming out against her and actually executing that plan against her is really hard. So, it's no surprise to me she's at the top, and hopefully we can see a few more. But, we'll wait and see.
Best in-swinger in world cricket, hands down, comfortably. By far, yeah. 15 wins in a row for Australia T20 World Cups at the moment. Midge, what's the key? What's been the secret to the success at this tournament for you guys?
A cheeky run out in South Africa probably helped that, but well, I don't know. I think actually, funnily enough, the Indian coach, I watched a little bit of the presser after their game because I had nothing better to do, and he actually mentioned like our team and how I feel like we know how to win in those situations where, when we're put under pressure and the teams are coming hard at us, we actually, we seem to be able to hold our nerve and, and get ourselves over the line, like stay calm almost. And I think that's probably played a big role in that. I think even with the change of group, the change of leadership, everything, it seems to be a really, dominant factor in this group, that we stay calm under pressure and we don't expect the result to go our way. That's not the way that we see it, but it's almost like if we hold our nerve and we stay calm under pressure, then, we can almost force the team into doing something that they don't want to do. And I think that helps in tournament play in particular. And I feel like we've shown that since that first game in the T20 World Cup in Sydney where we lost to India. I think it's been pretty consistent ever since that. We stuck to our game plan and it's worked for us. And, even when it hasn't quite gone right, we've still stuck with it and backed one another to get the job done, which is cool.
One thing that blows me away about this team and the squad is just you look down the 11 and there are just match winners in every position. Like you've got Beth Mooney, I think one of the most underrated players in the world, but one of the absolute best opening batters and middle order batters in one-day cricket. Grace Harris can win a game off her own bat. You've got Georgia Warren batting at 3 and bowling great leg spin. Taylor McGrath, we know what she can do. Elise Perrin-Ashgardner in the middle. And then you've got all the bowlers. Pretty much everyone bowls as well. So it's just, I feel like watching Australia are never out of the game. Is that a sense that you get when you're out there? Because you look around the field, there's always someone willing to put their hand up and someone you can turn to.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's the beauty of it. Yes, we've got a very good squad of 15 players that can come in and fill a role for our side if we do have injuries or if the conditions change. So that does help, and that probably has helped our consistency in this format, don't get me wrong. So we have that depth to cover. But you're right, I think Annabelle Sutherland batted at 9 or something the other day we played a warm-up game, or if it was the first game of the tournament. Like that's criminal in world cricket at the moment. Like she does not deserve to be batting 9. And we know that, but we're like, we can't put her anywhere else currently. Like, we kind of got to wait for things to shift a little bit, and we know how dominant she's going to be with the bat for Australia for a long period of time. So we're unbelievably blessed with a lot of talent, but I think that talent is matched by the fact that they've had opportunities at the international level, and also they're really confident in being able to contribute to a team's win, which I absolutely love, and it shows probably where the group's at, that everyone's comfortable enough to take the reins if need be and step in and win the game for Australia, or or handball it to the next person to go and do the same thing. So it's a really cool environment to be in at the moment, and hopefully we get the rewards for that. But we speak about it a lot. If it doesn't eventuate in a World Cup in a week's time, if we're not holding the trophy, that doesn't make us a bad cricket team. It means we probably just didn't win that night. But I think everything we're doing leading into this finals campaign is really good, and hopefully we can get the results for that as well.
It means a bloody good team playing out of their skin to beat you. That's probably what it means. Couple more before we let you go. You mentioned Annabelle Sutherland batting at 9. Phoebe Litchfield was batting at 8. Hads must be blowing up seeing that. Is she stopped talking about that run out? Because it feels like she was pretty pumped up at the time.
She's watched it 16 times. I can definitely guarantee that. And I've been in her ear the whole tournament about not having a run out yet. She's clanged a few that have come to her at cover, and she's fumbled it or hasn't quite let it go in time. So from my point of view, I was chuffed that she finally got one, because we can get that out of the way, and now she can just field properly and hit the stumps. But I can guarantee she's watched it. I will say she did. So prior to the last game, we were the doubleheader, and generally we were the second game of the doubleheader, and generally there's not a lot of time of changeover. We get held in like a back room until the other game's finished, and then we're allowed out on the field. So it was recommended that we kind of take what we needed for warm-up on the bus instead of putting it in our kits, because we wouldn't necessarily see them. So I will say Phoebe Litchfield walked on the bus with gloves and bat in hand, like ready to go. She was shadow batting in the bus on the way to Sharjah. So it's like an hour bus ride at that time of the day. There's Phoebe with her hat on, her sunnies on, batting gloves on, and swinging the bat around the bus. So if you want to know anything about a cricket nuffy, it's Phoebe Litchfield. So I'm sure Hads will love that. But it was very Marnus Labuschagne, that's for sure.
That sums that perfectly. You got the corridor and the bus, just block them one straight back down.
Well, she sits like in front of the stairs, so she had ample room to be playing pull shots and reverses and whatever. So she was happy.
Outstanding. Last one, the semis. What changes, if anything, for a semi-final? It's knockout now. Lose and go home. Yeah,
I think. Look, to be honest, we're in Dubai now. We've only played one game there. We played that Pakistan game there. It seems like a bit more of a truer wicket. I think Sharjah was, to be fair, consistent. It was consistently low and slow, which made it hard. The outfield in Dubai is a bit quicker, and the wicket seems to offer a little bit more for our paceys with a little bit more bounce and but a little bit more turn for the spin as well. So to be fair, the conditions are going to be slightly different, but I think that suits us regardless of the opposition we come up against. We're well prepped in that regard. Game plan doesn't change. I think we still look to go out there, take the game on. Like I said, we're confident and we're comfortable in playing in these big pressure situations in these tournaments, and some of the opposition that we come up against haven't really done it too often, so we can kind of play on that a little bit and go out there with confidence, knowing that, you know, we can get the job done and then hopefully put some pressure back on the opposition early and put them under the pump. That's kind of the way that we want to go about it.
Great. Well, all the best from us here in Australia and the Willow Talk team, and we want to see you out there at some stage left in the tournament. Fingers crossed you can get up for those games, Midge, and it's not all done just yet for you. Anything you want to say to Adam and Haz before you sign off?
Oh, it's just nice to see them today. Obviously, great to chat, and I'll see them very soon, no doubt.
All right. Feathers and Hads, back to you in the studio.
Feathers. Hey, funny guy, Sam. There you go.
She's playing.
She's playing?
100%.
After listening to that?
Yep.
Yeah. You'd imagine if it was real serious, she'd be back here in the studio with us.
I think it's real serious.
Yeah, but she's playing.
She's playing.
Oh, okay.
She mightn't feel that part of her body for 48 hours, but she's playing.
Wicket keep. Talk seriously. Foot injury, wicket keeping.
Nightmare.
Every time you crouch.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Well, what I think that the conversation will be is, one, can you handle the pain?
Mm-hmm.
And she's shown over time how tough
She sits
she is.
in here for an hour at a time.
She can handle anything.
Handles that crap.
And if you're not going to do long-term damage and you can handle the pain, I think she'll do everything in her power to play. Whether that's a semi-final, I think whoever wins out of Australia, South Africa, win the comp. So do you say, okay, I'm going to roll the dice and try to get right for the game against South Africa, or do you wait to the final? So I think she's going to find a way to play.
What's the most pain you've been in on a cricket field?
Broken finger.
Oh, you talked about that one when the anaesthetic wore off, and yeah,
That one, I remember playing with it, and now it's got a hinge joint and 10 screws in there.
10.
Yeah,
Little screws.
Mm.
Good job, surgeon.
Very good. Doug Ween. If you ever need your fingers done, go to Doug Ween.
Okay, magic
Oh,
man.
I tell you what I did one day there. You know, have you ever had a nightmare about waking up in surgery or something? I woke up in one of my hand surgeries.
What?
Yeah, I remember I was laying down on my back and I had the sheet there and the music was going like Nip and Tuck, that show. Remember that?
Yeah.
And I said, Doug, I'm awake. And I could sort of hear drills and things.
Oh.
He said, oh, no, it won't be that long. I said, no, I've got to go.
Oh,
And they quickly put me out. I did.
doubled you up.
Yeah, and as soon as I said, no, I don't want to be awake, I was out. You couldn't feel anything, but you could hear it where the sheet, yuck. It was disgusting.
No.
Yeah.
Let's get to the Shield wrap, shall we? Moving right along. 3 draws to start the Shield season. Happy with those decks that they served up first up?
Oh, yeah, I'm happy. Like, you've got to find a way to get the result of the game. Do you like draws? I hate them.
In Shield cricket.
Yeah.
To me, I know you want to win games, and I know you got to accrue points, and you get first innings and all of those things. But the Shield is where results
I don't like
aren't the
draws.
ultimate consequence, if you know what I mean.
I don't like draws. Well, you know that.
You hate them.
Mate, I'll race you to eat lunch. Because I definitely race you to be here early every time.
Yeah, you beat me
Never
too.
lost that.
Okay, let's go over some of the results. So
Yep.
at the WACA, WA Queensland, Whiteman a ton, Inglis a ton. We've mentioned Mitch Marsh, a lot of runs. You didn't have Sammy Whiteman in your top 5, by the way. He's scored a stack of runs over the journey the last 4 or 5 years,
Well,
but he never gets mentioned in.
mate, he's a good cricketer.
Yeah.
It was a few years ago. I remember coaching Australia A, and he was the keeper batter, and he was earmarked to take over from, like, put pressure on Payne and everything. Then he had a horrible finger injury, and he's turned himself into a batter. The one thing he has done, even in this game, everything was falling around him. Well, he lost 2 wickets at the other end, the first 2 balls, but he grinded 100, mate. He wouldn't look out of place in a baggy green either.
Mm.
Mate, he's a tough kid.
So he's your 6, is he? 6 seed.
Mate, I've got 15 of them.
Yeah, I know you do. Yeah.
As I said, the next 3 weeks, there is a genuine shootout.
Mm.
So, but, mate, Inglis, great 100.
Yeah, Inglis 100, Mitch Marsh a lot of runs. Uzi 31 and 64 not out. Marnus 77 and 35 not out. So time in the middle, which is impressive and important for them. Michael Neser, he got those first 2 deliveries of the summer for Queensland Shield. He took 2 wickets, 5 for 68. Cam Gannon chipped in with a 5 as well. Junction Oval, where it seems, especially early in the season, year in, year out, it's a repurposed highway, and they just basically put stumps in bitumen and let them go. Over 1,000 runs for the loss of 20 wickets. Marcus Harris a ton, Peter Hanscom a ton, Bo Webster, friend of the show, soon to be, a ton. Bradley Hope 111 for Tassie. So they all cashed in at Cricket Central. As mentioned, Sam Constas, Century. Nathan Lyon 8 wickets, which was good. Good start for Nathaniel ahead of the summer. It's good to see him and plenty of overs bowled as well. Alex Carey, nearly a ton, so 90 and 111. Nathan McSweeney, 55, 127. Not out, a pick of the SA bats. But I'm tipping you weren't over the moon with what New South Wales set South Australia off 110 overs, 389 to win.
No, I wasn't.
Not enough time?
No, I actually reckon that New South Wales should have declared an hour earlier.
And 110 overs to take 10 wickets?
But you're talking about St Kilda Road being a highway. It's a pretty placid surface at Cricket Central. But, mate, I would have given South Australia a chance to win the game. I would have said, okay, here's even 320. If you're good enough. Like South Australia have won 8 of 45 matches in the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not used to winning. I would have thrown a carrot out there so they had to keep going after the game.
Oh, we found something you didn't agree with this week. Here we go.
But like you've got Nathan Lyon in your team, so I think they needed to be willing to lose that.
Mm.
Yes, they declared, had a little crack at them, but keep South Australia in the game, mate. If you're going after Nathan Lyon the whole time to win, mate, we've seen it time and time again.
There's only so much you can get away with.
Well, if you're half not sharp enough with your feet and you second guess your decision making, he's got you. And we've done this a couple of times in the last few years against South Australia.
Well,
I'm New South Welshman.
Yeah, thank you.
We did it last time at Cricket Central. I know South Australia beat us, but who cares if you lose this game?
Yeah.
You've done it.
New South Wales obviously did.
Well, but you're trying to find a way to win. I just think give them 330. And if they're good enough to get 330 with Nathan Lyon there and they're attacking the whole time, grab your beer, walk in and say, well played, you were too good for us today.
Mm.
I just think that game there, New South Wales missed a trick.
Mm.
And on the surface, you go, it's a great game. If we had taken this catch here, there's a few, we could have. But you know what? South Australia had a decision to make the last bit, just a dead bat.
Mm.
Take that out. See if they're brave enough to chase 320 and give yourself that time to bowl them out. Sometimes you've got to give a team the opportunity to win the game.
Throw some burley off the back of the boat, you're saying.
Exactly. And it's happened a couple of times over the last few years, especially against South Australia. This is not the first time. So, mate, I still think we'll win the Shield. No doubt about it. The team we've got.
Who do
you go for?
I go for Australian cricket. Whatever puts Australian cricket in a better position, that's who I go for.
Ollie Davies, your favourite
Well,
player.
I can't sit here.
Yes, you can.
No, I can't sit.
You can give an
because our
objective-
listeners, we don't just have listeners from the greater metropolitan area of Sydney.
Yeah, but you've
Bradley.
got to be true to yourself. We'll give a good
I am being true to
insight
myself.
everyone. You're New South Welshman.
I'm from New South Wales, yes. But I look at a system like WA and have unbelievable admiration
So
for
do
what
I.
they've done.
But you want them to lose to us.
There's no us. For me, there's no us. The us is the mob that play in the baggy green.
What do you do when New South Wales, Queensland play in the Origin?
New South Wales.
What's no different here?
Yes, it is.
It's still New South Wales.
No, it's not. It's not state of origin. You got Josh Phillippe jetting in from the other side of the country.
Do not talk to me about eligibility rules in rugby league.
Or try and say it first.
Mate, I was stirring over that because I couldn't believe it came out of your mouth.
What?
Oh, my gosh.
We got Heels who sits in here. She's from New South Wales. She goes for Queensland in origin. If you've got a problem with that,
Who's
go at her.
Who's Luai playing for in the Rugby League Championship?
Samoa.
Oh, you know what? All I'm saying in this here is we both think
No.
they should be giving themselves a better chance to win
I
that
agree.
game,
I
mate.
don't like seeing 3 draws in the first round of Shield.
Well, it also you don't want that result to like 8. They've won 8 games of 45 in 5 years.
Yeah.
Throw some Burley out. If they're gonna still go, we go. Oh well, we've tried, but yeah, I think they missed a bit of a trick there.
Hey, watch this trigger, Sam. Producer Sam, watching from the other side of the window. So New South Wales go to the MCG to play us in the
Beg
next
your
round. Victoria, New South Wales.
I
at
hope
the
someone's
MCG.
let your tyres down now.
Yeah, I spent
Adam
a lot of time
Peacock's
in
is on
Melbourne.
P6.
Beautiful place.
His car's at 23. Let his
Well,
tyres
given
down.
this episode has gone so long, I'm guaranteed of a parking ticket today. But anyway, it's been worth it just to wind you up. Victoria, New South Wales at the MCG, Queensland SA at the Gabba, and WA, Tasmania at the Wacker. We've got some pink ball Shield cricket along the path as well, with games at Adelaide Oval, Gabba, and Bellerive. That'll be fun, pink ball game at Bellerive. So looking forward to all of that. Let's get into international cricket, because they would look at that in England and go, oh, yeah, look at that. How boring is Australian cricket? 3 draws to start their domestic
Surprised
summer.
you didn't say us.
Yeah. God save. He's in town, Charlie, as well. No, England. You got to give them credit. We did give them credit at the top. This is extraordinary. And Mike Atherton writing in the Times and all the English journos frothing it. And fair enough too. You can't give enough superlatives to what they did. 7 for 823 declared before bowling Pakistan out for 220. They were obviously mentally, mortally wounded, Pakistan, after spending that long. It wasn't that long, actually. It wasn't like 4 days in the field. It was just soul-destroying watching England, especially Harry Brook, 317 from 322, and Joe Root didn't motor along at that rate, but still 262, do what they did. Amazing, Hats.
Well, a couple of really important things come out of this. Is Root past Cook to become the leading run scorer in England. But remember we were sitting here after seeing the wicket and thinking, how do you get a result out of this? Yep. And that's what happened. And we were throwing up different scenarios to Claire behind, give him a sniff of winning. I tell you what we didn't bring up. Why don't you just score 800 in 150 overs, just over 5 and over, then bowl them out, mate? This is extraordinary to see what happened here. And another thing is that they scored 500 runs, Pakistan, in the first innings. So, what they did is just I don't think we're given enough credit to what they did to get themselves in a position to be able to win that game. So hats off to mate Harry Brook with 300. Joe Root, he just continues to get better and better. Brook's average there is extraordinary, but it's not about his average. It's about how quick he scores it. So
averaging 131 against Pakistan, by the way. Yeah.
I didn't even think about this result, and that's what they're doing a bit in Test cricket. They're just doing things that other countries wouldn't think of.
England can't do, more importantly. Even if you wanted to do it, it's another thing to actually do it.
Well, be brave enough to. Be brave enough to have the backroom staff, the captain that backs you to do that. To score over 5.5 and over for 150 overs, mate, we can't even do that in the backyard.
England became the first team, by the way, in history to concede 500 and win by an innings in that game in Multan. And you know what they did, Pakistan? They just said, you know what, curator, just have a week off, just put the light roller over the deck that we used in the first test because we're going to use that in the second test. Why? Why would they do that?
Well, I just think that they think that's the best way that they can get a result. If they do another flat wicket, England are going to come even harder at them, and they'll have no answer. So what they've done this time is go, you know what, let's use wicket, let's pick 4 spinners, then leave the bit of the game up to chance. There'll be a result, obviously, in this game now with the wear and tear of a day 6 wicket. I can't wait till it gets to day 10.
A day 10 wicket.
But
I haven't had one of those too often.
They've just thought this is the best way to win the match.
Pakistan, by the way, as we sit here right now, day 1 is done. Pakistan 5 for 259 at stumps. 29-year-old Kamran Ghulam on test debut made 118 batting at number 4. But obviously the game has moved on as you listen to this because day 2 would have been done. And we're not going to make any more predictions about what might happen. Although we will say that it will be entertaining towards the end of this test match, given that the wicket's going to look a bit shady.
what'll be entertaining is to tune in to England batting.
Yeah.
Like, see, what do they say? Imagine if they come out and they're going to go real hard.
Well, they're going to bat last if they get the opportunity to bat last.
Well, they mightn't bat last.
Yeah, that's the way things are going at the moment with Pakistan, who dropped Babar Azam, Nazim Shah, and Shaheen Shah Afridi. Is it fair to say they're three biggest stars?
Oh, easy, three biggest stars. But it's interesting with Babar. He's had an interesting 6 months. He stood down from the captaincy of white ball, came back. Now he stood down again. He's obviously under some mental pressure that's got to him with what can happen in Pakistan cricket. Things can become hectic off the field. You'd think Jason Gillespie would have tried to calm that down, but he might need a break soon, dizzy as well. But yeah, it'll be interesting next Test series whether they bring them back or have a plan to give them an extended break, freshen up, and come back hungry again.
India, Bangladesh. Sanju Samson hit a 40-ball century in the third T20 match against Bangladesh. Finished with 111 from 47 balls. India made 6 for 297. Yeah. Second highest score in a men's T20 international. Sanju, know much about him from the IPL?
I do.
Yeah,
I've seen this a couple of times.
Yeah.
He's made great power. I tell you what, this shows the depth.
Yeah.
India have. This is their second or third best team. We've got a Test match about to start against New Zealand, but mate, the talent they have. Mate, we see it in IPL all the time. But Samson, when I read that he got 100 off 40 balls, I just read over it. I said, "Oh, yep, that could happen easy." Mate, the talent they got is phenomenal.
It's weird. You look at other sports who have big international leagues, and sometimes, like I'm talking about the IPL, sometimes the host nation and their international aspirations suffer because all the big names come in and take spots of locals. Yep. But it's been the opposite effect here.
Yeah,
well, I've seen England with the advent of the Premier League struggle for a number of years at international level because they don't have the depth. But I can't think of an international team or a nation having as much depth at any one time since I've been alive. It's amazing, India. It's like you cut the head off one and then just the head grows back straight away. Yep. And it's like away they go again. And the same's going to be for this summer. They've got so many options.
They got talent everywhere, and especially in home conditions. Mate, Hyderabad's a good wicket to bat, but mate, Samson's been doing this for 10 years in IPL. He captains Rajasthan now. He did it at the start of his career at KKR, but mate, they've just got so much depth.
And they're playing New Zealand in a Test match, which is now underway. We've recorded this before play on day one. Might be an uphill battle for New Zealand. Struggled in Sri Lanka. They've never won a Test series in India from 12 attempts and haven't won a Test match in India since 1988. Apart from that, they like their chances. So we'll wait and see what happens.
You're not even going to let me
with that.
No.
Just by the way, Ned Brockman, I've spent a bit of time out. I mentioned this on another podcast that we've done as well, but spent some time watching him run 1,600 Ks or 1,610 Ks in 12 days. He tried to do in 10, didn't quite get the record, but finished it. He was in bits by the end of it. But around the corner is what's called Ned's Uncomfortable Challenge. So for 10 days in a row, you've got to do a challenge yourself, take yourself outside of your comfort zone. I've come up with one for you, Hads. For 10 days in a row, you've got to be nice to every Kiwi that you meet.
No.
Not doing it?
No.
Too uncomfortable.
Rather run 10 Ks every day for 10 Ks.
You can do that?
Oh, I could try yours. Do we go on holiday soon?
No, we're here.
Sam, we got 10 days on holiday.
We'll be talking about New Zealand next week, I'd say, out of this Test
I've
match.
got a 2-week holiday. You won't hear from me. I can do it that way. Now, what about that? My kids have been following that and we've updated. How mentally strong can you be? Incredible.
Let's get to Sundries. Kumar Dharmasena has come up with something that I didn't think I'd see from an official. He's released his own perfume. Now, he shared a pic on Instagram of the bottle, which is shaped in the image of himself, broad-brimmed hat, sunglasses included. He's the chairman of Pintana Plantations, which makes the perfume under the label Unadua, which I think I've got around it, but hey, leave us a comment to say, no, idiot, that's how you say it, but I've had a crack at it. It's Kumar's nickname. Have you ever known We had Blocker Wilson on the show last week. I can't imagine Blocker coming out with his own fragrance.
The block.
Get this in here. Block by block. Stop your sweating.
I know Wazir Makram had his own perfume label. And watch, he brought the perfume into Triple M cricket last year when he was on.
Well, that would have helped things because I've been in that commentary box and it needed it.
But an umpire.
Umpire.
Who's his target audience?
I don't know.
You know how you have a target audience, 16-year-old girls, teenage boys.
Yeah.
Who's you? Like
Future umps. It's a weird one. Jimmy wants to play on. James Anderson says, quote, I still feel fit. I still have the urge to get a ball in my hand, so I'd like to give it a go. If anyone would take me, whether anyone would take me is a different question altogether. So if you're a club president, chairman, Big Bash team, you thinking? Maybe?
Why not? You could see, you could play here on, say, in swinging conditions. Imagine if you bowled 3 overs, the first 3 overs of a 2020 game.
Hobart Hurricanes?
Swings there, swings up at the Gabba. It'd be interesting. I'd imagine Jimmy will put his name in the IPL. But, mate, if you pick him up, the other thing that you get if you got a young bowling group, he's a pretty good mentor.
I reckon he would be a great pickup for the BBL because he'd give a bit more. You put the mic on him.
Yeah,
he'd be good in that. You can have your words to you about what you used to discuss. Like, say, if he's playing at the Gabba, you can maybe recreate the discussions that happen at the Gabba that time.
Nicking me off or something.
Yeah.
But he'd be a good pickup.
Fair enough. If you're a BBL franchise, why not? And what about this one? Glenn Maxwell made a rare second 11 appearance for Victoria this week. The match is currently ongoing at Junction Oval. Maxie didn't exactly cash in, 14 of 19. Took one for 27 from 6 overs against Queensland. But you wouldn't know it because the online scorecard doesn't have G Maxwell or Glenn Maxwell, double N. It says fill in, FILL-IN. It's Glenn Maxwell.
Mate, whoever's doing that scoring, have they ever watched a cricket game? Mate, Glenn Maxwell walked there. There would have been 2 men and a dog normally at a second 11 game. Maxwell's there. Would have been a couple of hundred watching. Mate, he's back in white clothes for the first time in 10 years. Mate, come on.
He's obviously looking at Sri Lanka.
You know how he only got 14 off 19?
Yeah.
Hit a sixer.
Okay, of course he did. No fours, just 1 6. Yeah, but Maxie, have you ever done that? Have you ever put a mate under another name or just to get him in and he's actually played for Australia or New South Wales?
No,
you got him in thirds?
No, I haven't done that.
It's like when poor old people rock up last year to 4th grade, 5th grade playing against Southo and all of a sudden they see at the top of his mark Stuart Clark charging in.
Oh, mate, I'll tell you what, if anyone does, Stuart Clark had the best bouncer I've ever played with.
I know.
Mate, don't piss him off because I reckon he's still got a couple of bent arm ones in him.
So good luck with Phil in and his future aspirations in cricket. WBBL third umpire will be available in every match this season and 33 of the 43 matches will have DRS. I don't like that. It's either
one in, all in. Yeah.
All or none.
Yeah, I
Not
agree.
33 of the 43. And I know there are extenuating circumstances and getting it into certain grounds, but in those 10 games, you are going to have a blow-up.
Yeah.
About, this is unfair because it's not equilibrium with the rest of the competition. There'll also be an innings timer like the BBL, so bowling teams have 73 minutes to start the 20th over or face fielding penalties. Don't know why it wasn't in already.
I love that.
Keep the game moving. It's been great for the BBL. Season starts on October 27. And we'll end with this one. Triple hat-trick news. Glenn Parker playing for Brighton Cricket Club in the Southwest First 11 comp in Victoria took 5 wickets in a row in his third over. The first wicket was caught at mid-off. Then the next 3 were bowled before the 5th wicket was LB. Now, the umpire wanted to get involved, Just get involved with a bit of history. All batters were right-handers. Parker finished with figures of 7 for 13 from 4.2 overs. Glenn Parker, we salute you. Congratulations, mate. Outstanding.
And he was a spinner.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
Even better. Surely someone would be brave enough just to whack him for 6.
Triple hat trick. Why is it called? People always ask this question. Why is it called a triple hat trick if it's 5 in a row?
No.
Do you know why?
No. Do you?
Because 1 to 3 is a hat trick.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
2 to 4 is a hat trick.
Triple hat trick.
3 to 5 is a hat trick. Hey?
Makes sense now.
Hey, there you go. Taught you something today. Do you agree with that? Like everything else apart from one thing on this podcast?
Well, as 2 New South Welshmen, we've both learned a bit today.
Go the Vicks. We're done. Pats forever after that last comment. Bradley, I'll see you next week. We've got Bo Webster coming in for a chat.
Hope someone let your tyres down.
Thanks, everyone. That was Willow Talk. Yeah, thanks for watching the Willow Talk podcast on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't have to miss an episode wherever you are. And while you're at it, check out these videos up here. They're mostly good.